Good evening, all. Hope you're doing well. You had a good day. It's been quite a tricky one because London session we were quite risk off, and then by New York we were quite risk on, as you can see. Now the thing, if you remember yesterday's video, I was saying that we should be leaning towards a little bit of risk on because of the green sales we got on the sentiment. So although we did go risk off during London, I guess you could argue it was just setting up for a pump for New York. And if you come down to this, the VIX is absolutely getting destroyed right now. There is probably not really much fear, really, on social media. I couldn't see much. Obviously, there are things ongoing, but we're not seeing retaliation. Obviously, the Ukraine-Russia thing's ongoing, but the Middle East thing, it seems to sort of dampen down a little bit, and it's not become quite as scary. And because of that, we've really crushed the VIX today. And because of that, we're seeing very much risk on the indices, and it is a little bit bonkers. There's the dollar being unchanged. Now, there isn't much appetite for the USD when things are going like rally mode, really, because the USD is a safe haven. And so we are seeing a little bit of weakness. Well, we had strength, but we're seeing that weaken over time. Okay, so that's of note. We pump more on the technicals. We're going to be in a dominant phase, which is really bad for bears. So we have to wait and see. Okay, so just note that we were cautious, complacent, and now euphoric. All right, so it's very crazy and sudden the moves. So you've got to try and be careful, and it's definitely really important to know your exit. I personally wouldn't try and swing trade like FX pairs. You can swing trade indices and gold, but FX pairs, they'll just flip on a dime by New York, London. Because we were quite risk off during London. And so things like the dollar, they really strengthened. And we saw a lot of stops getting taken out on cross dollar as well. A ton of stops got taken on cable and on fiber, which is Euro USD, and it just came down to take a ton of stops. And gold is also falling quite heavily as well. Gold made a sell going by the FXCM station, so let's show you that quickly. Ideally, what I might do actually, just thinking about it, instead of having to do the drop down, I could just have multiple tabs open. That might be an idea, because it takes like 10 seconds to choose the currency pair or commodity. So there's gold with the sell set up. Okay, so they've gone long, so they're going to get punished. They shorted it, they got punished, and then of course they went long up here, which I suppose you can't really blame them for. You're looking left, it looks fairly constructive for longs. It doesn't look particularly bearish, and so they've gone long up here, and they've got really hammered. Now the thing is, here we could have a buy set up, but we need the crossover first. That could be a good one. That could be an important level. So you could look for longs with a tight stop there, because this would be a very strong level of interest if you look at the volumes. So this could be a good place to go long, even that wick as well. So that's the goal setup. Let's show you S&P. See, by having the charts up, it wouldn't have to load the data. All right, so that's fine. That's okay. They'd gone long, so we fell, and now they shorted it, and so we went up. And now what will probably happen, because it's falling right now, so they're currently ever so slightly getting paid, but we could probably argue it's a little bit sideways. It's not really moved in an aggressive way like it has here. We're just sort of ticking lower ever so slightly. Now the thing of note with the S&P, see, we're in this like descending channel. You can draw a pitchfork on that, so I can show you the pitchfork here. Okay, so that's the cool thing about pitchforks. It gives you like an identifiable channel for your levels, and also it can tell you if we're oversold or overbought. We had oversold because we'd broken the pitchfork, and now what's happened is that we've encountered some resistance at the median line. Now we should have done that here. I was thinking we should have probably come up and then had the test of it, and then we zigzag, but we didn't quite respect the median line, but we have done now, and we've seen a reaction off it. So we'd oversold, hit resistance, and then we'll probably come down to support, and then we're going to zigzag, perhaps in this down channel. But we have to remember we are euphoric, so it's a little bit tricky. And also the FXCM data is telling us that they've shorted it. So you could probably argue how legitimate this decline is going to be. Technically, it's okay because that's a decent resistance. It's like the median line, so we'll just have to wait and see. And that's the S&P taken care of. And we'll come to DAX. Now, DAX is interesting. So what happened here is that they'd sold it, and you could probably they've entered short anywhere in that big massive candle. Now what's happened is that we're pumping. Now a very interesting phenomena is going on right now about the hive mind. Okay, so this is quite an interesting bit if you're new to sentiment or if you're wanting to learn about it. So what's happened in the hive mind, right? So they've sold it, price is pumped, and now what's happening is that they're going less short. They don't like what's happening. They can anticipate what's happened in the past. When they held short, they got absolutely destroyed. And so that's that move there. So this is them exiting the shorts, that move. However, it looks like now they're adding to short. So that's a little bit frustrating. But it's one of those things. It's really, really hard to try and anticipate what the herd are going to do. But that's the reason for that move here, that this zag. This is a zigzag, right? This move here is them exiting their shorts because they don't like the idea of holding on short and then getting absolutely destroyed, which they had done from January to March. Okay, and that's a little bit of psychology going on right now with the hive mind, and now what's happening that they're looking to sell, possibly because we're just starting to print a bearish candle. If they're quick to sell, they're going to get punished. Okay. So this one was of note. We just kind of chopped there. It really it didn't really move very strongly, but they did get punished there, you could argue. So they have to be careful, and if we fall heavily, they're probably likely going to short. Okay, so. Also, another thing is that we hit an all-time high on the UK 100, the FTSE stock market, so the index there. So we have to remember things are pumping, and if they sell it, we're going to probably continue to pump. So that's a little bit of a thing going on there. It would be nice to see them hold, to see them short, then exit that short, because then we can see a move to the downside. But if they're going to sell it, it's unlikely they're going to get paid. So that's that. And also been quite good for this video, for this demonstration, to see the reaction once they hold. Once they've exited their short, it will see price fall. Okay, because it does mean that they're more long. Less short is more long. So that's a bit of interesting psychology going on. And if you want me to look at any currency pair or anything like that, let me know. And says the reaction on the median line. And also we've got a new QDB score simplified tab, and this has fallen a little bit, and we're seeing a little bit of strength appear in the euro. Okay, so the euro pound was a good one today, good if you caught it, and I think maybe we'll still perhaps look for dollar longs because it's got a really good score, and we're probably looking potentially short in the yen, but we've got the BOJ and potentially the pound. So you could wait for the retracement on pound USD and then look to sell. So we come here and then we can see if we can spot any setups maybe. No, that's not right. Oh, they changed it. That's weird. GU. So I suppose if we wanted to get a massive retracement, setting up there would be okay. But it's miles away. It's like 90 pips away. So that's the hourly. Yeah, so that would be, if we're looking for retracement, that would be a good place, because then you could enter and then you could have your stop here, for example, and it'd be quite a nice, fairly nice tight stop. But we should be seeing pound weakness and we should see dollar strength. But the only thing is it doesn't really align with the risk calc. because we're euphoric. Okay, so perhaps we're going to encounter some resistance technically, you know, like we saw in the pitchfork and the S&P. If so, then, you know, the dollar can do okay. So really we should be looking at dollar strength. So we may never get retracement back up there anytime soon. So it could be a good thing to do is place orders, which is, you know, it can get you out of trouble, but I don't know if we're going to come all the way out there. And also it's worth noting about the pound is that we've had the strong EG 2 days in a row. And because of that, the pound's going to suffer a little bit, because of euro pound is a very good proxy for GU, for the pound USD. So if that's pumping, it's very likely that this is going to fall. Okay, so they correlate very well. There's about 90% correlation last time I looked. And so that's it. So look for dollar strength, but be careful, because obviously the risk calc is not really agreeing with dollar strength right now. We start dumping here, then it could be a good one to do. And we're seeing some erratic moves as per sentiment. So it is what it is. And then that's today's video. Remember to trade safely, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow over the day and see if I can get some content across for you. And if I spot anything, I'll let you know. But we should be looking to short this one. But I don't know if we want to be waiting until it gets up there. Could wait on the 15-minute. So even that might be all right. We didn't quite test it though, did we? So perhaps we look at, if it do get a pump up to 123.70, then we can have a stop around about here. Maybe it's a 25 pip stop. So something like that. We'll look at it tomorrow, but ideally we kind of want to be looking at the fundamentals, and you know, we are strong. We've got a risk on sentiment, haven't we? So it could be quite tricky. Perhaps we might be turning on risk appetite, and then we can look to sell this potentially. This is obviously strong resistance, as would that be, and that's a good support. So from a risk to reward perspective, it could be a good trade. You could probably get a 4R on there if you're quite savvy. But I think I'm just going to wait, and see how things unfold. We've got a big day tomorrow because we've got a load of PMI. We've got the Japanese, the Australian, the Eurozone, UK and US, and possibly the CAD as well. I'm not sure, but I know the other countries we definitely have. This could be a good setup. I might take this potentially, but ideally, would want confirmation on the supply. At least if we come up and probe it like we did there, then we can see a nice reaction. So, you know, we created a demand, which then turned into like a turncoat supply, like a resistance. So if we were to be patient, it could be a good sell, but it looks like it is falling now. So we'll have to wait and see, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.